Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Just for Little Leagues podcast. I'm your host, Trevor Morton, and you're watching WWE We Review Episode 5 of Just for Little Leagues podcast. We have a very special episode today of Just for Little Leagues podcast. We will be going over Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, the CW premiere of NXT, and Bad Blood 2024. Before I start, I want to say sorry for the late episode. It's because I was at a party the day of Bad Blood, and school has been pretty hard. Also, I watched Bad Blood on Sunday, the day this was supposed to come out. My cousins also came over, so, I don't see them a lot, so I want to spend as much time with them as possible. But, enough yip-yap. You guys have been waiting too long for this. Let's get into it. Starting with Raw, like always, of course. Probably expected that, unless you're new. Starting off the show was a video showing what happened last week with Jey Uso vs. Braun Breaker. But after that, actually starting the show, was Jey and his son Jace. Jey also got a new belt with his new title. All the black parts in the globe/earths on the belt are now blue. It's not a big change, but it gives the belt some more life. Jey's entrance was a whole yeet-abration. Jey came out to celebrate his win and talk about all he's been through to get here. But during it, Braun Breaker came out. But it wasn't to stomp on Jey's parade. It was to congratulate him. Braun said that the better man that night should have walked out the championship. He also said how Jey has his respect. They shook hands, and as Braun was leaving the ring, Jey said there's some dogs in Indiana. Because they're in Indiana. Then we saw Rey Mysterio versus Xavier Woods. But before the match, we saw the Judgment Day outside, and Dom got a call from Finn. Finn said that he was going to be back soon and got stuck with some traveling problems. But now, back to the match. It ended in a pretty controversial way. Xavier was trying to grab hold of Rey's neck and pulled off Rey's mask. Oh no. And while Rey was trying to cover his face, Xavier pinned him and won the match. Then yet again, we saw the PFR, RPF, or FRP. I don't know what it is. It's like in a circle. Backstage, we saw Xavier Woods when Kofi came out and asked Xavier if he did that on purpose. Xavier obviously says that of course he didn't do it on purpose. But Kofi gives Xavier some good news. That Jey offered Kofi a title match, but he told Jey that it should be Xavier instead. And the entire time in the background, Karrion Kross was standing there, watching. Next, we got Lyra Valkyria versus Zoe Stark. And guess who won? I'll give you a hint. The person with two people in their corner. Yeah, Zoe Stark won. But it wasn't fair because Sonya Deville hit Lyra with a knee. Then, of course, after the match, all three of them started attacking Lyra. But then, the return of Kaden Carter and Katana Chance happened and came to Lyra's aid. Spoiler, this isn't the only return happening tonight. But Katana Chance and Kaden Carter defeated Pure Fusion Collective. And I still don't like that name. Next was the last time CM Punk faces Drew McIntyre before Bad Blood, which we're getting to at the end of the episode, so you gotta watch all the way through. Wahaha. At one point, Drew even talked about Roxanne and said how eventually you have to realize who the idiots are here. Drew also said CM Punk taught him how to hate. CM Punk said that he was the voiceless that night because he has nothing to say to a piece of garbage like Drew. CM Punk has been living in a hotel because he will not subject his wife to the man all of this beef has turned him into. And that CM Punk needs to be the fictitious boogeyman at Hell in a Cell. And Drew will be on his hands and knees. And he won't be praying to God. And he won't be praying to the devil. He will be praying to CM Punk. And he'll see Drew in hell. Drew left with a face of concern, too, showing how that night he was scared about fighting Punk. Backstage, we saw Braun Strowman getting interviewed when Miz interrupted them and said how last week he had a match with Bronson Reed, and he, as in Braun Strowman, interrupted it. Then they got interrupted by, what's up, guys? R-Truth is back. Oh my god, I love this man so much. Man, he got attacked after Seth, and he is back first? Wow. Seth is literally everywhere but Raw, I swear. But back to the Miz and Truth. Truth doesn't like how Karrion Kross has been picking on Miz, and got them a match against AOP. So you'll see that later, but you'll hear it soon. Up next was the bum-op mother said no cursing. Pat, take it away.
Representing the bum-ass Judgment Day.
Versus the LWO in a 6-man tag team match. And right when Joaquin Wilde was about to get the splash on JD to win the match, Liv distracted the ref, and Finn from out of nowhere pushed Wilde off the ropes, and JD hit him with the devil inside and got the win. After the match, the Judgment Day yapped, but thankfully our savior, Rhea Ripley, interrupted them and even brought out the shark cage. Well, she asked the WWE staff to pull it out. They did. Because you don't say no to Rhea Ripley. Rhea said some of Dom's secrets. One is that he is extremely claustrophobic. And later said that she thinks it's time we stop talking. And Damien started attacking the boys of Judgment Day, except Dom, because Rhea started attacking Dom and Liv, and tried throwing them both into the shark cage. And this entire time, Damien has been fighting 3 people at once. But of course he failed to defend himself for the entire time, which I don't blame him for, since it's a 4v1 since Dom came back into the ring. We didn't see how Rhea ended in this exchange, but we saw the Judgment Day standing behind Damian Priest. With Damian Priest on the floor, by the way. Then it was the New Day's second match of the night, Chad Gable versus Kofi Kingston. And a fair but kind of unfair ending. Kofi was going for trouble in paradise, but Xavier held Chad's leg to give Kofi the upper hand. But it didn't work, because after that, Chad Gable hit Kofi with Chaos Theory and won the match. Yeah, that was a short one. Then we saw a video of Seth Rollins being everywhere but Raw. Continuing tonight, we saw the ring general Gunther. But before we get into that, we got some bad news. At a show in Columbus, Georgia, it was Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther. And Ilya got injured with the torn ACL and is estimated to be out for the next 6 to 9 months, which really sucks. It's been a long day without you, my friend. Gunther said how good life is as champ, but hates the insults from Sammy every week. Then, of course, on cue, Sammy came out. And Sammy said if he finds Sammy so annoying, there's a very easy way to put this to an end. By putting his World Heavyweight Championship on the line. 1-on-1. And Sammy said to Gunther to admit to everyone why he won't do it. Gunther says it's because Sammy isn't on his level. But Sammy's saying Gunther's dad made him feel like a loser, and now Gunther is showing his dad his son is a coward too. This made Gunther snap and attack Sammy and give him his match for next week on Raw, which already happened. Then it was Awesome Truth versus AOP. To be honest, I'm not even going to say much. All I'm going to say is Truth was fighting for a really long time, and when he finally was able to tag Miz, Miz kicked him in the face. Miz, I hate you. How dare you do this? And it was 100 million billion % on purpose. And after, Miz walked out of the ring and ripped off his Awesome Truth shirt. And they pinned Truth, and AOP won. It's been a long... Okay, I should stop doing that. Next up, the Last Man Standing match, a.k.a. also the main event. Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed. This was one of the craziest matches I've ever seen, which is going to be out-crazied by the first match in Bad Blood we talked about. Everything broken. Table, ring, bones, chairs. Probably not bones. Everything was broken, though. Near the end of the match, Bronson Reed superplexed Braun Strowman, and the ring got destroyed. Oh, so that's why there are no screens on the ring. Reed was trying to get up and stop the count, but Seth Rollins ran out and stomped Reed onto the steps that were sitting in the ring, and finally set this back. So everything I said before is now wrong. But Braun Strowman won. I usually save the matches for next week, but they already happened, so I'm just not going to. There's no point. Now it's time to Layeth Thy SmackDown. Starring the show is the guy you don't want anything from, AJ Styles. Guys, that's not hate, it's his theme song. You don't want none. Back after a short heel run after losing and saying, I quit at Clash in the Castle. But will he still be heel or become good again? Well, the answer is he's going to be good again. He said he regrets the things he's done in the last couple of months. AJ also said that there's some people that need reminding that this is still the house that AJ Styles built. And the hotshot, Carmelo Hayes, came out. Melo, stop. You're tied with Andrade. Stop. But I don't want to see part 7. I've seen 6 matches between these two. 6. It's too many for me, guys. I can't handle it anymore. Melo said that he deserves to be U.S. champ and not Andrade and not LA Knight. And AJ gave Melo some advice that LA Knight is relentless. He came to his house, just like he did Logan Paul's house. No one's house is safe. What? You better watch out. He might be on the way to your house right now. So you better watch out. You never know when LA Knight's going to show up at your doorstep. You never know. Melo said he doesn't take advice from quitters, and AJ said that he earned that one. But if Melo was him, he would be United States champion right now. And Melo retaliated by saying if AJ was so phenomenal, then he would be WWE champion right now. And AJ said that what they will do is fight right there, right then, in the ring. And Melo said that he was good. Melo. You cannot be trash talking and then not fight. It's WWE, it's wrestling, it's not a roast battle show. And as Melo was walking out the ring, LA Knight came out. Yeah. You know I had to do it. You know I did. Knight gave Melo 2 options. LA Knight could go down to the ring and punch Melo in the mouth 5 times, or Melo could fight AJ. And if he wins, maybe he can get a shot at the title. And it's actually happening. AJ's first match since June. And I'm hoping AJ wins, because if you don't watch the podcast weekly, I don't like Melo. You probably know that already, though, just from this episode. But sadly, AJ lost. But he only lost because he injured his ankle, and the match had to stop. But thankfully, after the match, LA Knight went into the ring, and before Alicia Taylor could even say that the winner is Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight hit a BFT onto Melo and put him to sleep. Shh. 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 Me. Okay, I'm done with that now. Next up was a stinker. It was a dumpster match between Michin and Chelsea Green. I hope Michin wins. Chelsea called me stinky. A notable thing to talk about is the start of the match, when they were playing lightsabers. Yeah. And Michin did not hold back at all. She used everything against Chelsea. Chairs, tables, metal pans, dumpsters. If there was a weapon, Chelsea got hit by it. And you may be thinking, well, if Chelsea got hit by everything, she must have lost, right? Well, yeah, she did. After the match, when she crawled out of the dumpster, she was covered in trash, and she was dirty, and she had some chunky brown stuff on her face. Gross. Well, who stinks now, Chelsea? Who got put in a dumpster? Huh? It's gonna be a joke for 2 weeks, people saying Chelsea smells. I didn't put in the script for Bad Blood, but there was a part where they're in the VIP area, and Chelsea walked up and said that she stinks and she gotta leave. Then Bayley came out and called out Nia Jax for her to come out to the ring because she has something to say to Nia, to her face. Very bold, Bayley, very bold. She might sit on you. No one knows. So Nia and Tiffany came out, and what Bayley has to say is that Nia is not like the old women's champions, like Lita, like Victoria, like Beth Phoenix, like Natalya. But there's one thing that they weren't, and Bayley admitted, even though it pained her to say, Nia is on her way to be one of the most, or already is one of the most dominant women in the WWE. But there's 2 people that can take the championship from Nia. Bayley and Tiffany Stratton. Because since she's Miss Money in the Bank, she can just cash in whenever she wants. So when Tiffany gets tired of Nia, she's going to cash in. Even though she's not good enough to actually beat her, she can still take the title just because of her little pink cutesy girly briefcase. And Tiffany gets offended by this and says she doesn't need the briefcase to beat Nia. So of course Nia says, "Excuse me?" Why did I say it like that? And Tiffany says she only said that because Bayley made her so mad, so angry. And Tiffany said to end the conversation and make Nia forget about what she said. But we all know Nia's not going to forget. That Bayley should bow down to her queen. And Bayley said she has no respect for Tiffany. And now it's Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton. Okay. I feel like Tiffany just needs to lose so many matches in a row and have people keep pushing her, as in making fun of her, just the way Bayley did, and have people try to break up her and Nia. And lastly, have Nia give Tiffany crap and make her feel bad. And after all that, the next time Nia has a crazy championship match, she needs to cash in and become the new WWE Women's Champion. To be honest, I don't even know if there's one person on the roster in SmackDown that I want to be champion. I mean, Bayley was fine as champion. There's rumors of them moving Rhea to SmackDown. So if she goes to SmackDown, she should definitely be the champion because, you know, it's Rhea. If she can't get the one on Raw, then, like, she gotta have one of them, you know? Like, she's not even the speed champ. Actually, I would rather have Rhea have no championships than be the speed champion. Because it's not even canon. Like, at all. Okay, back to this. But before we go to the match, we see Chelsea Green and Piper Niven backstage, and they pass by like 10 people, and they all say how bad Chelsea smells. Even Nick Aldis. Ugh, stinky. Okay, actually, back to the match now. The winner of this match was, drumroll please, Naomi. The plan is going perfectly. Continuing the show was the triple threat ladder match for the tag team championship. It was the main event, but it seemed like it wasn't gonna be, because it was like there's still like 40 minutes before the show. But it's the main event, consisting of the Street Profits, DIY, and the Bloodline. I'm hoping DIY get their titles back. Many times, for obvious reasons, the Street Profits and DIY work together against the Bloodline. Because, it's... Who knows? Maybe Jacob Fatu ran out. He didn't, but, like, gotta get rid of the Bloodline. They have literally the GOAT Tonga Loa on their team. That's a meme, guys. It's a meme. I don't think... He's not the GOAT. Nearing the end of the match, DIY worked together with the Street Profits, but it was really smart because both the Street Profits and the Bloodline were down, and DIY had the chance to climb up the ladder and get the titles. But before they could, the Street Profits somehow got back into the ring and onto the ladder when Tonga Loa came into the ring. When both DIY and the Street Profits were on the ladder, Tonga Loa started to push the ladder back and made Johnny Gargano and Montez Ford fall back. Then, the GOAT Tonga Loa climbed up to the top of the ladder, grabbed the titles, won, and retained. And that's it for Friday Night SmackDown. Big show we had this week on NXT, but to be honest, it wasn't that good. And I'm about to tell you why, so let's dive into it. Opening the show was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, with this new NXT, which deleted all the yellow out of the brand, and now it's all gray. We need some new championship belts, and let me tell you, they look like a base template version of a 2K belt in the creator part of the game, but with the big NXT logo on it. Whoa! But Chicago, are you ready? The big Triple H was there to say, are you ready with Shawn? I want to see HBK and Triple H. That's not fair. But that happened, and we moved on to our first match of the night for the NXT Women's Championship. The Beautiful Madness Julia versus the Prodigy Roxanne Perez. Spoiler alert, this match didn't end well. Julia hit a Northern Lights bomb outside the ring, and on the count of 9, both women got back into the ring. Roxanne rolled back out and crawled all the way to the other side where the championship belt was, and she grabbed it, brought it into the ring, and the ref was yelling at her to put it back. But while that was happening, a mysterious figure in a black hoodie attacked Julia and rolled her back into the ring, and Roxanne hit Julia with the Pop Rocks and retained the title. Now you must be wondering, if you watch NXT already, you're not, who this mysterious person is. It's Cora Jade. She must be trying to rebuild her friendship with Roxanne. Who knows, though? Maybe we'll find out already, because it's Thursday. Yeah, this episode is too late. Up next was a PLE type match, Zachary Wentz versus Wes Lee in a street fight. Man, this match was the NXT version of Drew and CM Punk's match at Bad Blood. It was wild. Many things were broken in this match. A friendship, hearts, brain cells, chairs, trash cans, candlesticks. Zachary Wentz is back. Don't worry, his back isn't actually broken, but it's definitely not okay. a piece of plywood? When do we have those? Near the end of the match, Zack was monologuing for too long because he was about to hit Wes with a chair, but Wes hit Zack with a low blow, and that was the beginning of the end. Wes hit Zack with several right hands with the chain wrapped around Wes's hand. Hand twice in a row. Saying it too many times. And then he sat Zack down on a metal chair and hit him with more loaded right hands. Then Wes climbed up onto the ropes, wrapped a chain around his knees, and jumped knee first onto Zack and got the 1, 2, 3. So, another disappointing ending. Hopefully the next match will be better. Up next was Miz TV. Everyone was excited for this until he betrayed R-Truth. But special guests on Miz TV was Oba Femi and Tony D'Angelo. But everything they said was everything they've already said. I just bit my tongue. Next up was a tag team match. Lola Vice and Jada Parker versus Fatal Influence. Remember what I said before the whole Miz TV thing, saying I hope the next match is better? Yeah, it wasn't. Kalani Jordan was also announcing the match with Vic and Booker. And we thought maybe this tag team could work for one night since we saw a post of them on Instagram having fun. But Lola was trying to get the tag when Jasmine Nix came behind Jada and tried pulling her off the mat. Jada caught her though and started yelling at her. Then Fallon Henley pushed Lola into Jada, and after that Jada walked out of the arena. Then Fallon Henley and JC Jane ran into Lola and both hit her with some crazy hitting knees, and Fallon got the pin on Lola. But that's not all, folks. JC Jane said, and that is a statement made. Fallon followed by saying, and our next target is the Women's North American Championship. So, Kalani Jordan, why don't you come on in here and show us all what a fighting champion you think you are? And Kalani retaliated by saying, I had a feeling you guys would call me out. And honestly, we can go right now. But I didn't exactly come to Chicago alone. Then Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair came out, and they started attacking JC Jane and Fallon Henley. And then to the end of it, Kalani Jordan dropkicked both JC Jane and Fallon Henley. And it's official. Next week on NXT, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Kalani Jordan will be fighting Fatal Influence in a 6-man tag team match. Then it was time for the main event. Wow, I'm blowing through this for such a long episode of the podcast. Trick Williams versus All Ego Ethan Page for the NXT Championship, and CM Punk as the special guest referee. And guess what? This match checked off both boxes. It was good and ended good. Woo! Do I got a tale to tell. Many times Ethan Page yelled at CM Punk, and CM Punk is actually a good ref. Ethan was trying to get the pin, but he was getting momentum from the ropes. And Punk caught it and stopped the count. One point in the match, Ethan sent Trick through the barricade. Ethan even put Trick through the announcer's table with an Ego's edge. But after, Trick got into the ring and hit Ethan with a trick shot. And Trick fell onto the ground, but Ethan bounced off the ropes and fell onto Trick. And Punk had no choice but to count. But thankfully, history did not repeat itself, and Trick kicked out. Trick later in the match tried to get another trick shot onto Ethan, but Ethan pushed him out of the way and hit a trick shot of his own. But Trick kicked out of two, and Ethan started arguing with Punk. And Ethan hit a go to sleep on the Trick while staring dead into CM Punk's eyes the entire time, even during the pin. But somehow Trick kicked out of two, and Ethan went for another Ego's edge, and Trick slipped out and gave Punk a big, loving hug. Punk then put Trick in the corner, and Ethan tried stealing Trick's move again. But Trick got out of the way, ran the ropes, and hit Ethan with another trick shot, and became 2-time NXT champion. He deserved it. The only thing that could have made this match better is if Punk hit Ethan with a go to sleep. Oh wait, he did, and it was awesome. And this is usually where the podcast stops, but not this week. No siree. We got one more to go. Bad Blood. Now it's time to talk about Bad Blood. Man, this was a crazy one. But if you didn't see it, you're not going to know how crazy it was unless we start talking, so let's get into it. Honorable mention, the hosts of Bad Blood were WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill with Naomi. Starting off the show was probably one of my favorite matches ever, and my favorite match of Bad Blood, CM Punk vs. Drew McIntyre in a Hell in a Cell match. But before that, they did a video, and I don't know how to explain it, but it was scary. But I can't do this match justice in the slightest talking about it with just words. Lucky for you, there are some videos on the WWE YouTube channel that you can watch for free to see parts of the match if you don't have Peacock. I'm going to start talking about this match by starting at the end of the match with winner CM Punk. It went down like this for Punk to win. Drew McIntyre grabbed a bag, and we didn't know what was inside, but he walked over to the body of CM Punk that was sitting up against steel steps that were placed in the bottom right corner of the ring. Drew opened the bag and poured the items on a Punk. The items in the bag were the beads from the CM Punk friendship bracelet. After Drew did that, he went for a Claymore, but Punk moved out the way and Drew landed spine first onto his steps. Then Punk started wrapping a chain around his knee. Punk walked over to Drew, picked up a lot, and I mean a lot of beads, grabbed Drew's hair and shoved the beads down Drew's throat and got his revenge. And then hit Drew for go to sleep. And remember, he had that chain on his knee, and Punk got the win. And also, once Drew was home safe away from CM Punk, he posted pictures of him at Bad Blood, and the last picture was a picture of the top of his head being cut open, and he had 16 staples, not stitches, staples in his head. And I don't know what exactly did that, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. For those watching on YouTube, I would put it on the screen, but I don't want to get demonetized. But this match was amazing, awesome, and most importantly, brutal. This is my brutality, the demons in your dream. Up next was an match. Bayley versus Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship. I was expecting nobody to win because I thought Tiffany was going to cash in, and it seemed very close to it. This match almost ended fair, but Tiffany, of course, came out and ended that. Tiffany beat Bayley for the briefcase, and now her and Nia were on the floor. Tiffany put the Money in the Bank briefcase on the floor and tried to help the official up and help Nia win. But when the official did get up, she thought Tiffany was cashing in. Then Nia Undertakered and sat up and saw the ref with the briefcase and Tiffany, and started yelling at her because in Nia's mind she was about to cash in. But Nia ended up winning, of course, with the iconic sit after a Samoan drop from the second rope. After the match, we saw Tiffany peeking into the ring. All we saw was Tiffany's eyes and up. Hopefully she's gonna cash in soon. Like, Drew got the briefcase and automatically cashed in the same night and lost. Yeah, I feel like it only makes sense for Tiffany to cash in on Nia, or, like, for that championship. Because Raw, that women's championship, it's, like, there's currently a lot of story going on with it, so it wouldn't make sense. And you're really gonna cash in on an NXT championship? Really? No way. I'm pretty sure Tiffany already held that championship anyway. Following up is a match following the numbers game. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. Damian was not holding back against Finn. At one point, JD McDonough and Carlito came out to help Finn. They came out right when Damian was going for a South of Heaven, and Carlito distracted the ref, and JD bounced Damian's neck off the ropes, and then Finn drop-kicked him and hit a coup de grace. But Damian kicked out. Carlito again distracted the ref when JD passed a metal chair to Finn, but before he hit Damian kicked the chair, which was right in front of Finn's face. He then hit Carlito and knocked him off the ring, tossed JD over the ropes, landing on Carlito. Then Priest went for a South of Heaven, but Finn countered and rolled him up, but Damian kicked out. Then Finn continued to execute several coup de grace, but then on one of them, Damian caught Finn and successfully hit him with the South of Heaven chokeslam to win the match. Then Triple H came out for his history-making, game-changing announcement. Now, sorry Triple H, but you said too much, so I'm just going to sum it up here. There's going to be a new tradition at Crown Jewel. Every year, for the two world champions, both the women's division and men's division, they will be fighting for the Crown Jewel Championship. But Gunther came out saying everyone knows Sami isn't going to beat him the following Monday, which is past already. And that it's going to be him versus Cody Rhodes. And that in 4 weeks, just like at King of the Ring, Triple H will be handing Gunther the championship. Also, Goldberg was at Bad Blood with his son. And Gunther said, when Bret the Hitman Hart came out to Raw a few weeks ago, that Goldberg was a childhood hero of his. But it was a lie. Gunther was making fun of Goldberg for a while, making jabs at him, when Gunther said to Goldberg's son Gage that hopefully Goldberg is a better father than he is a professional wrestler. That made Goldberg snap and get into the ring with Gunther. Well, at least he tried. He wasn't able to do anything because security was too strong. But with Goldberg distracting Gunther, Sami hit him from behind, and they started fighting until Gunther ran out of the arena. But with security gone, Goldberg got into the ring and was celebrating. I don't know what, but we need Goldberg versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship if Sami loses, which I hope he doesn't, but I already know. But I'm not going to say it in case it's a spoiler. But the next match after Damian's match was Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the WWE Women's World Championship. So we got back-to-back Terror Twin Judgment Day action. And this match was only better with Dom being in that shark cage. Somehow, during the match, Dom opened the door of the shark cage and also somehow had a chain wrapped around his ankle and then fell from the shark cage and was hanging there. And Rhea had some unfinished business and went to beat up Dom with the kendo stick, which was entirely legal. But from out of nowhere, Raquel Rodriguez returned and hit Rhea's back, dragged her into the ring, and hit her with a Tejana bomb. Then Raquel grabbed the title belt and handed it to Liv. Then Liv, Dom, and Raquel left the arena. Another disappointing ending. Well, only the second one, but the two matches for the titles, of course, had to end badly. The only two that would change the most, except for this following match. Time for the main event, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes for Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Many times people feared that Bloodline was going to win. Of course, during the match, the Tongas came out after Cody went on the top of the ring post while Jacob Fatu was lying down on the announcer's table, and Cody splashed Jacob straight through it, removing himself and Jacob from the match. But the Tongas, in a time of need for Solo, right as Roman was going for a spear, came out and distracted Roman, leaving him open for Solo to hit a spear of his own. But that wasn't enough. Roman kicked out. Now, if the Tongas watching over the match from outside the ring, behind them stood a figure in all black. A black hoodie, black pants, wearing an iconic black bandana over his mouth. This guy continued to deliver each of the Tongas a super kick. Then he took off the shadowy black clothes and revealed that he is Jimmy Uso, wearing a shirt saying, "They not the ones." Then when Solo turned back to the match, Roman hit Solo with the spear to win the match. Then Roman and Jimmy walked out the ring when the Bloodline started to attack Cody, and Jimmy convinced Roman to do the right thing and go help him. And after they really defeated the Bloodline with the WWE Championship lying on the floor, Roman Reigns picked it up and handed it to Cody Rhodes. And oh my god, The Rock is back. He's actually back. And he did some weird hand movements, like counting, but a fan took a video of Solo in the crowd saying it's all part of the plan. So I guess The Rock is with Solo, which is what everyone was thinking. Anyway, I'm just glad Jimmy's back. But also, outside the stadium, Cody and Kevin Owens were arguing, and Kevin started punching Cody. Woo-wee! Two things I wanted in one night. Let's go. Jimmy's back and Kevin Owens is going heel? Man, could Bad Blood been any better? Actually, wait, yes it could have. But that's been it for the Little Leagues podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below your dream match and your favorite match from this week. Become a channel member to support me and the podcast. I'm saving for the IC title. I need it. My dad keeps telling me to get a job, so. And send a super thanks to really help. Link to become a member is in the description. And guys, if you like and subscribe and share this to your friends and maybe become a member and maybe send a super thanks, maybe my friend will come onto the podcast, and we can be a two-person podcast, and then we can go visual podcast, and it's going to be super awesome. I would just like to note the podcast is now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. So make sure to check it out. Just search up Just for Little Leagues Podcast on any of those platforms, and it will show up, hopefully. And remember, at 1,000 subs, we're doing a very special episode, so make sure to get the channel to 1,000 subs, even though it's just my own channel. But still do it, please. Do it, and then you'll get a special surprise at 1,000 subs. I promise you, you're really going to want to see it. But I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye!